I'm Alex Bordanova. I'm the director of audio experience for VoiceMod.
So Alex, for people who aren't familiar with VoiceMod, tell them what your software is exactly.
Yeah, VoiceMod is a voice changer technology. It's basically used to people to entertain themselves from the early beginnings, but it has changed to be like a plain tool to really accommodate the voice of the people in the internet. So you can use it simply just to tweak the voice to the point that it sounds better just because you're using VoiceMod. So you can just use it for your family or your work duties. So I think that we're seeing how it's expanding beyond that. So it has like an entertainment side in which we see these voice effects such as the voice of an orc or maybe is a robot, whatever. And on the other side, you have this clean voice that is like tuning the voice to match the quality needs.
You guys also have you also have a digital soundboard implementation in the software as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, VoiceMod started as a sound changer, a voice changer, and suddenly turned into a soundboard in which people could just upload their own sounds and play them back. And we are also offering content every day. Well, not on daily basis, but we're offering content so people can play with our own sound design, which we have internally a group of sound designers that can provide like really interesting sounds based on different categories and goals.
The thing I'm really impressed about your software is that it's natural integration with Discord and how easy it is to put sounds through there and even get your feedback, even hear your voice through it, so you can hear yourself through the voice changing if you want it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that what's really interesting about VoiceMod is that it's running on the system tray, so it's really easy to integrate with third parties. I mean, it's not a standalone app that works on its own to communicate with others that are using VoiceMod, but it is connecting to any other software. So your voice and sounds can be played back through this platform, such as Google Meet, Hangouts, or especially Discord, which is where our users sit mainly. Yes.
And I think that's incredible too, because like if you own an internet talk show or anything like that, or a podcast, it can be difficult to play sound effects and have the person joining you hear them. Like you can hear them, your audience can hear them, but the people on the call cannot always hear them. Your soundboard allows them to pass through Discord or whatever you're using, so everyone on the call can hear it, aside from just your viewers and you, which is a really important part of a talk show.
Yeah, absolutely. We are trying to integrate as much features, thinking on content creators lately, because we're seeing like a huge spike on the amount of users that provide content via Twitch or YouTube, or that they are also using Discord at the same time that they are doing that. So we're trying to bring the most awesome tools to just really integrate with OBS or O2 as well. So we're working on providing this kind of integration so people feel comfortable. And we're trying to make it easy every day so people can really connect the dots together, because it can be hard at some point, but we're trying to bring new information constantly so people can really make it happen on their own.
I think it's funny because I think we're underplaying how good your software is, because for me, when I was looking at options to just play sound effects through a channel, like so people on the call could hear them, you know what I mean? It was very difficult to find stuff that would do that. I looked at digital audio splitters, which are a nightmare to deal with in your system. Of course, after that, you have to look at a soundboard, something physical you have to put on your desk, have space. And then instantly after playing with your software trial for like maybe not even an hour, it did exactly what I wanted to do almost flawlessly. And I think it's such a good platform to do that stuff with. You know what I mean? Like whether it's just everything it does. I mean, from a streaming standpoint, or even just from playing with your friends. Like we mentioned before the call, like having pre-made voices that you have, but you can also make your own custom ones for things like D&D or Call of Cthulhu or Mutants and Masterminds. It really adds another layer of depth, especially since everyone's at these stay-at-home orders and they have to play D&D, digitally.
Yeah, what I feel myself being having a technical background, I can feel that sometimes even for me cables can be super hard to understand. So I'm super used to dealing with all these spaghetti of cables that we always have. So digitally, I think it's probably way easier for this kind of generations in which we are born digital already. So I think that what we could establish is a shortcut for many users to really connect to what they expect to have as experience, which is basically our goal. Try to ensure as much as possible this line that can be a barrier for many people. And this is our daily routine. I mean, trying to explore how can we make it easier for users and how they can just enjoy with the content, because content at the end of the day is what really matters to us. It is what we really want to achieve, to bring more content so people can just download it and play with it, and also upload their user generated content and share that with the others as well. Yeah.
And another thing that's interesting is that you guys have a lot of your settings and stuff in a cloud. So if I go to another machine and log onto my account, I can download the stuff that I've created on a different computer and have it all there ready to go.
Yeah, that's the point. What we are trying to achieve is to have a hub in which you just have your account, and wherever you go, you can just pick up your stuff and just play with that. And I'm really glad that what we are sharing lately, which is all the voices that you just can compose with VoiceLab, which is this part of the application in which you compose your own voice and then you can share it. We're having thousands of sharings on our Discord channels in which people just join over there to play with new voices. They do that on their own and they just share it among them to allow the others to just import it and play with them. So it's not just that you have your own content linked via your own account, but also how people is already working for the community, because this is what really makes a difference, right? That we build community by sharing stuff together and also empowering people to go beyond and generate their own content. Especially I really like, as you mentioned, all the role-playing games stuff. So I can really tell that I'm starting to see a lot of voices that are around these kind of topics. Mainly, I would say Star Wars is like on the top of it, but we also seen how Cyberpunk is also over there. GTA is also over there. I mean, we can see like video games with RPG video games really having a lot of impact on the voice generation, but also like online, like retro video role-playing games, like the ones I like to play.
Even like you mentioned, content creators doing maybe like animations. Yeah, you can always go into whatever you're using, Adobe Audition or Pro Tools, and mix your own voices. But these ones are it's a much more simplistic interface, and you can it's just easier to understand. And you have so many pre-made voices, and you're adding more like all the time. One of my favorite ones is Dark, because that's literally how the Protoss sound in StarCraft 2. So some of these, and it sounds very good. Like, it doesn't sound like some cheap knockoff. It sounds like a very good voice modulated system.
Yeah, we are working with a really complex system of technology in which we try to keep aligned with low CPU consumption, low latency, and best quality. This is what we're trying to aim. And the one that you are mentioning, Dark, is one of the probably most complicated voices, because it's really pulling a lot of triggers at the same time. But yeah, I can tell that this is one of the used voices. But if you ask me, I would say that the singing voices are the ones that we can see how they are going high at the moment a lot. So Lil Mod, for example, is beating the records. Magical Chords also as well. I mean, all the ones that are being used for singing are like super overused. And then for RPG, Dark, Titan, all these voices are being used as well. But we can see a lot of people using their own voices lately. This is happening more and more as we added the sharing option in the VoiceLab. We can see like how people are going through the process of generating their own voices and generating their own assets. And I think that we are gonna see a huge spike on UGC during this next year.
So how did you guys end up getting the name for your software, VoiceMod? Because I would have thought that for such a common, straightforward name of what it does. I mean, literally when I was Googling for voice changers and soundboards, I was typing in VoiceMod, literally your program. How did you end up getting that name to your software?
Yeah, that was taken like 10 years ago. First VoiceMod was released for for iPhone 3G. So it's like a long run already. That was a moment in which probably software was not all about entertainment. We could see like there was an evolution from the professional sound studios until we really got everyone engaged into content creation. So probably that was the fact that we started at the early beginnings of what was the sound and the entertainment, and was not part of the sound studio. So there were not that much options at that time regarding software. So I think this is how it started. And yeah, I think it's a really good naming because it pulls so many people. In fact, most of our users come organically, so that's because the part of the naming, of course.
And then your platform, you guys do offer like a free trial where you rotate voices, a certain number of voices every day, and some features are locked off in the free trial. But you guys also offer 2 other different payment plans. You have a monthly installment and as well as a lifetime unlock fee. Can you talk about that?
We find that bringing some kind of free content to the user will, of course, it will work, and we are trying to find a way to offer more free content to the users because we want to bring everyone in, because we know that when they try it, they will stay, right? And this is one of the big successes that VoiceMod has in terms of business, is that it's really good at keeping people in, because we know that there's a lot of quality content that is being locked for them. We try to offer it to them. We try to rotate in the voices so they can taste them, and we ensure that they will be back. It doesn't really mean that we want to share 100% of our content just from the beginning, but at the end of the day, we try to share as much as possible, and we have some plans to share more. So keep tuned, because you will see so much stuff happening in that way.
Awesome. And then where can people go to find out more information about your platform?
Well, voicemod.net is the website in which we are like channeling all traffic at the moment. But if you want to really feel comfy, I would say go to Discord, because in our Discord channel, you will see a lot of activity. We have our community really active. They're super healthy, I would say. They are really willing to help the newcomers. So I can tell that this is a really sweet spot to be. I think that one of the most required things that we are having from our user pool lately, and I think that it's a really interesting thing because it's so related with our times, is how the toxicity of the online chats can really persuade many people to join in, especially women or maybe kids. So one of the big things that we're trying to accomplish with VoiceMod in terms of social impact is to help our user base to join in with their own voice avatar. So they are not recognized as a person that is between that age or with that gender. I think that it's really important. We can try to bring like a mask in which people feel comfortable and secure, so they feel the safety of the online space. And also, I think that is a really good point that we're seeing lately is how this space for people that really needs to feel separated from their daily life. They really like to get into the skin of something magical, different, or how they feel comfortable and disconnect from like their daily routines, right? So we have these 2 points that we are like seeing lately, this kind of 2 big users in terms of how they decide to wear our voice skin.
And you even have you have voices like man to woman and child to man, man to child, like stuff like that, just to help the and anybody, like you said, if you're not comfortable with your voice, or maybe your voice is very high or something like that, you can do stuff like that to just feel more confident.
I think that is really relevant, because when you're a kid, you're like, let's say 10 to 12-year-old, maybe your voice is not what you expect for an orc from World of Warcraft, right? And you join a chat, and then you want to feel confident and you want to be part of the community, but you feel like you are not that orc, right? So I think that it's really helpful. I can tell for my kid that is using VoiceMod a bit now, and he's really enjoying it because of he can join any chat and he can be comfortable with that.